Video 54 for Math Lesson 8.2, Addition of Mixed Numbers. Now, adding mixed numbers is pretty much exactly the same as adding fractions without mixed numbers. It's just that you have to remember that whole number part and make sure that you're adding that part in there. Let's take a look what it says about addition of mixed numbers. One way to add mixed numbers is to add the whole numbers and the fractions separately. If the fractions in the mixed numbers have unlike denominators, you should first rename them using a common denominator. You will have to rename the sum of the fractions if it is more than one. Let's take a look at what that means. Now, it may be helpful to have these examples in your notes, but I'm going to leave that up to you because you do follow the same steps for adding mixed numbers as you do when you're adding fractions. Okay, so let's take a look at our first example. Find 3 3/4 plus 5 2/3. Well, the first thing we have to realize is that we do not have common denominators. So we need to rewrite these fractions with common denominators. Now my denominators are 4 and 3. So I could do 4 times 3 to get 12. So I'm going to use 12 as a common denominator. Now I need to rewrite 3 3/4 as 3 9/12. And I'll rewrite 5 2/3 as 5 8/12. So here the problem is rewritten. Next, we add up the fractions just like we would normally add fractions. So we're going to add the numerators and keep the denominator the same. 9 plus 8 is 17. Our denominator is 12. So when I add the fractions, I get 17/12. This is a part that some people forget. And don't forget to add the whole numbers. I've got 3 plus 5, and that's 8. So the answer to this problem, 3 3/4 plus 5 2/3, is really 8 17/12. The problem is it's kind of like what I call a messy answer because we've got an improper fraction here, and we need to rewrite that, and we always need to try to simplify. Well, here's where fifth graders often go wrong because as they're doing all this work rewriting 17/12, they forget about that 8 there. So if we have 8 and 17/12, we need to take that 17/12 and we need to change it first to a mixed number, which would be 1 and 5/12, because there's 12/12 and 5/12 in there. 12/12 is 1, 5/12. But we can't forget about our whole number 8, so we have to add that in there too. So then we have to put our 8 plus 1 together to get 9. So we've got 9 and we've got 5/12. So our answer, after we clean it all up, is 9 and 5/12. 5/12 can't be simplified any further. That's really, I guess, the hardest thing about adding with mixed numbers is taking a look at your answer and figuring out what you need to do to reduce it and simplify it. Let's take a look at one more example. Okay, we're going to do this one together. So here's the problem, 4 1/3 plus 6 3/4. I want you to pause this video and solve this problem and then resume the video. Okay, first thing you should have done is notice that you need to make common denominators. So I'm going to rewrite these fractions with common denominators, and I've got a 3 and a 4 again, so I'm going to use 12. 4 1/3. So 1/3, I need to use 12 as a denominator. 3 times 4 is 12, so 1 times 4 is 4. So I'm going to have 4 and 4/12. And I'm going to rewrite it up and down because I like lining things up better that way. And then I need to make this with 12, so I'm doing 4 times 3 is 12, so 3 times 3 is 9. So I've got 6 and 9/12 here. Now that I have common denominators, I can add. 4 plus 9 is 13. My denominator stays the same at 12. Can't forget about my whole numbers. 4 plus 6 is 10. Okay, so this essentially is the correct answer. Unfortunately, we have an improper fraction here. We need to simplify. So I'm going to remember that I've got 10 plus 13/12. Now I'm going to simplify that 13/12. I know that 12 goes into 13 one whole time, and there's going to be 1/12 left over. Okay, so there's my pieces. Now I just need to put it all together. 10 plus 1 is 11. My fraction part is 1/12. So my answer is 11 and 1/12. Did you get the right answer? I hope you did.